Hello again, it's Frances. I had a technical glitch and then there was a dog who barked. So I guess it was good that I didn't start at that moment. So again, it's Frances from the Umlauf Sculpture and Garden Museum team. I am not at the Umlauf, but I'm in my backyard once again for Storytime moments. And I'm going to coordinate this again with works from the garden. I try to think to myself how I can connect with the garden when I'm not there. And I often read stories from authors, local authors, an awful lot, when I'm in the garden on tour with school children. And today I made a connection, or actually last week I made a connection with an artist, a local artist, and made a connection with a sculpture that I always tour when I'm sharing with school children. Let me first show you what I gave you for homework last week. I asked you to find Spirit of Flight, which is the sculpture that you can see right here. This is an image of Spirit of Flight. It's a winged figure looking upward, and I'm not talking about the young boy here. This is actually one of our Umlauf family members, and he is demonstrating what so many school children do when they tour with me on a tour with Spirit of Flight. They decide to act out Spirit of Flight, which is what I hope you would want to do when you came on tour with me. So here I was thinking of Spirit of Flight, missing Spirit of Flight, and actually so much so that I've got my Spirit of Flight pillow here that I made at a family day event some time ago. And soon we'll be back in the garden for family days and for school group tours and Umlauf After Darks. But this virtual programming is something that can take its place. So back to Spirit of Flight. So I'm reading the Austin American Statesman, and I read about an author who wrote a book called Fly, Fly Again. Her name is Jaffe, and with Jennifer Lawson, they came up with a brand new book just out this spring, and it connected me with my Spirit of Flight. I also like to make connections between art and creativity, art, creativity, and engineering. I have a daughter who's very involved in engineering, and so I like to make those connections. And so this book speaks to not only creativity, artistic and engineering creativity, but also to a young person who wants to try again, is a theme of this book, Fly, Fly Again. Let's start it. Again, it's Fly, Fly Again by Austin authors Jaffe and Jennifer Lawson. And a cool thing also is that there's a foreword by Buzz Aldrin, the first human to stand on the moon, or to get to the moon. It's the 50th anniversary of humankind's trip to the moon. We also want to say thank you to Greenleaf Book Group Press for letting us read this. Fly, Fly Again. I'm going to read the foreword also from Buzz Aldrin, that famous astronaut who is a friend of the authors. He says, after walking on the moon, I know the dedication and hard work that go into making your dreams come true. Discover the fundamentals of flight with Jenny and her friends. Jenny is the main character of this story. By using a little ingenuity, problem-solving skills, and a never-give-up attitude, they unravel the basic concepts of flight, inspiring the next generation of explorers and dreamers to fly, fly again. A great addition to any young aviator's library. And that is the foreword from Buzz Aldrin. Here we go with the story. Again, I'll try to show you the pictures as well. You can see here, it's a young person's room, a young girl's room, Jenny. From the time she was born, Jenny dreamed of flying. I think she's flying on her mobile over her bed. And she's got some other images that make me think that she's always been interested in flying. Even when things crashed, she never stopped trying. She took to the air without caution or fear. You see her working? Despite the disaster of Mom's chandelier. So her craft crashed into her mom's chandelier. Looks like she was trying to fly inside the house. One day, Jenny found a friend like no other, a red-tailed hawk who became like her brother. Now she's up in her tree house, and there's a red-tailed hawk, which we have around here in Austin. So there's the hawk. Jenny studied hawk and learned all about lift. She wondered, could I fly high, graceful, and swift? There's a lot that humans have learned from studying birds throughout the years. And here we are, with Jenny studying her new friend hawk. Knowing the answer would be in her pocket, Jenny pulled out glue, wire, gears, and a sprocket. So Jenny's a collector. She's a tinkerer, and looks like she's got all these items ready to use in creating her flying machine. But in the next door yard, on a structure he built, Jude watched with wonder and perfected his tilt. Jude lives next door, and Jude is a skateboarder. And there's also an interesting animal down there. Looks like a cheetah. It's actually Jude's friend. Jude's best friend, Kitty, that's the name of the cheetah. Kitty taught him all about speed. It gave him the lift he used to succeed. So Jude is watching Kitty for speed. Jude noticed his neighbor and her invention. Jenny's projects always caught his attention. I think these two might combine forces. After her checklist and a quick walk around, Jenny's machine was ready to leave the ground. There's Jenny and Hawk. All sorts of items have come together. It looks like roller skates down there underneath her craft. Nose to the wind, flaps down, power on, full. Where's lift? Lift, L-I-F-T. The tiny plane rose and then started to drift, D-R-I-F-T. Uh-oh, look at Jenny's face. She looks like Amelia Earhart, one of the photographs in Jenny's room when she was a little girl. With little control, Jenny wobbled and fumbled. They crashed through the trees and down they all tumbled. Crack, kaboom, splat. Look at those big words. Jenny's still gritting. She's still trying to get that machine to work. But from out of the pile with laughter and cheer, Jude said, "You almost had it. Just learn to steer." That's her neighbor, remember? Hawk raised a feather like he did now and then. If at first you don't succeed, fly, fly again. I asked the author about the Fly, Fly Again title, and she did say it was definitely a nod to try, try again. Together, they tinkered all day and all night, becoming inventors like the brothers Wright. Y'all can look up the Wright brothers. There's photographs here, or actually images of Jenny tinkering. All right, here I am. If I hadn't recorded the third time, it is now the fourth time. And guess what? It's Fly, Fly Again. And it makes so much sense that I'm reading this book today when I am trying again to read it with you. So anyway, here we go. Together they tinkered all day and all night, becoming inventors like the brothers Wright. Testing and checking each lever in their draft, they discovered 3 ways to rotate the craft. I do think that all the kids working in my neighborhood on schoolwork are really taxing. Use rudder to yaw with a wiggle and slide. Here we all are again. And they are still working. They're still working. I'm still reading. Thank you for sticking with me. This time they turned left, then right, while gaining height. Controlling the aircraft, they flew with delight. Look how they're flying. This is really happening. They're really flying. Nose to the wind to come in for a landing. Just fly, fly again to gain understanding. With some glue, a wire, gears, and a sprocket, a new quest was born. To Mars. That she has a couple of other books in the works. One is about launching a rocket to Mars, and the next book after that will be about going to Mars. So this is the author's wish, is that we stay tuned for other adventures of Jenny. So again, this was Fly, Fly Again. There's Jenny and Hawk and Jake and Kitty. And even if a couple of times things don't work, what do you do again? You try again, just like me reading this story today. I want to say thank you to our Umlauf family member Luca for showing us what Spirit of Flight can inspire us to do. It can inspire us to be a sculpture, a living sculpture. It can inspire us to be a sculptor like Charles Umlauf. It can inspire us to create art that makes us think of Spirit of Flight. It makes us think of our abilities using our creativity and our engineering and our abilities to create. I want to say thank you very much to the Umlauf Sculpture and Garden Museum for their virtual programming. I am so thrilled to be a part of the virtual programming, and I hope you will visit the Umlauf site and consider supporting us, whether that is by joining the Shaping Space program for children and their families. It's a monthly program that gives you an entire kit of artistic and musical also involvement that is themed each month, and this month has been In Bloom for April. It also is Poetry Month in April, and I am not going to take time to read a poem right now, but I did have a poem to read. It was called Trees, and if you would look that up, it is to me in celebration of Earth Day, which was yesterday, and it is a poem that many of you and your parents will probably remember when you hear it. It's called Trees. And that's all. Again, thank you for coming out to Storytime. I appreciate you sticking with me, and I hope you will continue to watch on Thursdays at 12:30. You can also access it anytime by going to the Umlauf Facebook Live. Again, please come out and support the virtual programming that Umlauf has, and take care. Cheers.